I gotta say about this doctor. This doctor had way too much time. I've been to doctors. I've been to hospitals. I've never met a doctor with that much free time. He's babysitting, doing detective work, and I'm like, no, I've met doctors. They don't have this kind of time. All right, guys, welcome back. And today we were talking about Black Box. This is a movie that JMark recommended. There was a moment of confusion where you were like, wait, do I need to go on Wikipedia and read the synopsis because maybe they're not being very clear? But I stuck with it, and in the last 30 minutes for me is the best part of the movie.
Scaring us! No!
But it's funny because you think of Blumhouse, and you think of franchises like the Jordan Peele movies, Get Out, and Us.
Invisible Man,
Insidious, The Purge, Paranormal Activity is one of the franchises. Like, they're awful, but they're watchable. And then you think about the ones that are unwatchable, like Fantasy Island, which I didn't even see.
I did watch that one.
I feel like this could have been equally as successful as The Invisible Man if it was in better hands. Had they have put some star power behind it. Because I think it's there, narratively.
If Lee Winnell directed this, if he would have done Black Box, then oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I think this transcended all that, which is really nice. It could have been a Twilight Zone or a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
So the movie's basically set up where it's like a quilt of other movies. Because, like, the beginning of the movie kind of feels like a combination of, like, Memento and Jason Bourne. Because you have a character who doesn't have his short-term memory. And everyone is trying to put up with his bullshit. Like, stop explaining your condition to everybody. We know.
The publisher will not sign off on it.
You used to do it tighter.
If this happens again, we're gonna have to notify child services.
We know that you're an annoying pain in the ass and we have to spoon feed you. We get it. And then you have the second act where you get into, like, the thick of it. And now we're, you know, what feels like Inception. Or The Matrix. It's very Christopher Nolan. If you took the guy from Memento and you put him in Inception, this is what you would have. You know what I mean?
Okay. Like you mentioned how this is similar to like The Invisible Man. And I feel like the one of the biggest things that really separates the two movies is that I feel like The Invisible Man had a really distinct style. Like that felt like its own. Whereas this, like you said, it is kind of a quilt of other movies. And I really did like how, again, a lot of my sensibilities, I like the movies that they're borrowing from, but like I don't really feel like it had its own style. That was kind of my takeaway from it. What do you think about it? A couple
little things that I did like. When the movie really kicks in for me is when we get to the scene where he first goes in. They're setting the rules, and this is the stuff that I eat up. I love the bit about with the analog watch, and you can turn it forward to go forward and backwards to go backwards, and you push it in the side to go back to the room. I like the bit how they have like a safe room, and if you leave, you can't come back. That just reminds me of a good sci-fi movie that establishes the rules that will be paid off later. But the first 30 minutes are a lot of exposition, and it's kind of the little girl is actually the best part in the first third of the movie. She's trying to
relationship and
tuck me in, you know. She's got her, you know, and then you feel so bad in the end when that guy is like, he's like, "Snap yourself in, you bitch."
Yes,
you do. You're a big girl, and you snap in.
That was hard to watch. Yeah,
I don't think that the main villain is the mother in this movie. I think the main villain is Thomas, because I think the mother, despite knowing how bad this guy probably is, she has an idea. I think she's just doing what any good mother in her position probably would try to do. And she's kind of got like the blinders on, you know, saying things like, oh, well, he can change. He can be better, you know. It's second chance. I didn't vilify her entirely. I thought he was a piece of shit. You know, like, can we just talk about how, like, that scene in the third act where he Spartan kicks that kid across the fucking hall? Like, if you had any doubts about this guy being good or bad, like, because you do kind of, in your mind, you kind of go,
feel for him, at least.
Because, like, you know, look, he was a bad guy.
Back from the dead.
He was a bad guy, and we get that, you know, more as the movie goes on.
Yeah.
And they do tell you initially that the original character is gone. So you're not really pulling for that character anymore because you don't think he even exists.
Right.
You don't know that he's a creature.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I thought Nolan, when he was at the wedding and he sees, like, the crab monster walking at him, I thought we were going to find out that was him looking at himself.
That's what I thought. Yeah. He's, like, trying to warn himself or something.
Maybe he killed his wife in the car accident, or there was some earlier abuse that he like suppressed. I thought he was going to be the one with the guilty conscience. Not that somebody downloaded a guilty conscience into, you know, his spirit soul into his brain. I don't think you could have put that together though with the pieces that they give you. You know?
Yeah, no, I hear you, but definitely better than like a lot of movies I've seen recently for sure. I thought it was really solid, and yeah, I really liked just Nolan and his relationship with his daughter. You mentioned that she did a great job. His daughter, that little actress that played her, super sweet, super emotional.
That scene got me, man. And I know it was coming, but when he finally got that handshake in the end, and I know it was coming. It was all set up, but I'm like, he's back.
Oh yeah,
because it
that
easily
was
could have gone the road of he's just brain dead now, and he's dead, and he's in a coma, and like credits.
So here's what I echo what you said, and I'm very happy this movie actually was pretty satisfying. It ended on a satisfying note because the 5 minutes before the final act, I'm like, this is just a really sad movie. I mean, nobody's winning. This family that had an abuser, they're getting haunted again by this guy that they thought was dead. And then this daughter is basically, she thinks it's her dad, and it's actually not her dad. Her dad's actually dead, and they're actually happy. They think this miracle happened.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they kind of like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just really depressed. I really feel for both situations. And the fact that they came back and they're like, no, they fight each other. And then, the Thomas sacrifices himself, basically redeeming himself a little bit, to let Nolan go back. And it was like, okay, I felt like they actually paid off. Like it really paid off. I really liked the ending a lot.
I did too.
Yeah.
I thought it really stuck the landing. When
Yeah.
I'm watching the last 5 minutes of the movie, my brain started thinking about every bad horror movie I've ever seen. And I'm thinking, this is the ending they're going to give us. And it's going to suck. This is what I thought they were going to do. And I'm so glad they didn't. All right. So the guy wakes up. He's back to being Nolan, right?
Yeah.
He does a handshake. All that's great. The mother gets stripped away of all of her titles. She's not a doctor anymore.
Yeah.
She's at home, whatever. Cut to, it's 1 year later. We have Rachel, I think is the Thomas's wife, who is battered.
Yes.
Maybe she meets up with Nolan, whether it be because of the court case with the mom, whatever. They start talking. They grab a cup of coffee. They realize that they're both single parents and they're broken. And they both have kids. They hit it off, all right?
Yeah.
And it's like 1 year later, because I've seen movies that do this really cheap, where it's like, hey, we have a broken piece over here and a broken piece over here. Boop. And it's like, it's just such a movie thing to do.
Right.
Just because you have two broken pieces doesn't mean you just fit together. But I figured this was what we're going to do. They would have solved each other's problems.
Right.
But that's not how love works. But I've seen it in 1,000 times in bad movies. So they get back together, right?
Yeah.
And now they have like a nuclear family. They each have two parents now. They hit it off, and everyone's happy, right?
Yeah.
Now, like right in the very, very end, we have Nolan, and he's walking past the reflection, and he sees Thomas in the reflection, and Thomas is kind of just smiling at him. And he's like, wink, and everyone's like, oh, credits. That's a shitty movie ending that I was expecting in the very end, because I've seen so many bad movies do that because they're prepping like a sequel. And it's like, oh. I'm glad they used restraint and they said, all right, look, it's a standalone.
Right.
We're not gonna milk it. We're not gonna do that bullshit.
At the end though, like when he's like, tells his daughter, hey, go get a bedtime story, like, and then he like actually braids her hair correctly. I honestly was like I didn't quite tear up, but I was getting a little emotional. I'm like, oh my gosh, like,
I got
it's a happy family.
I got a clench in my throat when they did that.
Yeah.
They did the handshake and all that. And I was like, he's back.
He's back. Nolan's back.
Because you know why? Like, I'm so used to these Black Mirror type of stories where they always just ended on a down note. There's always it's not even like karma playing a hand. It's just, nope. You get punished at the end because that's the norm now, I guess. It was actually really nice for how things played out in a favorable way.
So Black Box was kind of a palate cleanser.
It was. I think the audience has grown wise to the act of expecting it in a bleak kind of way. So when you kind of invert that expectation a little bit and keep it original, I think that's good. I think that's a good thing that you keep doing. So I'm definitely going to check out these other Welcome to Blumhouse movies.
Yeah, same here. I'm definitely more interested in having watched Black Box, now talking about it, definitely more interested. And I'd definitely give it a solid 7 out of 10. I want to watch it again.
You got to go back and watch that Spartan kick, man.
Yes, I will. I'll text you my reaction. Oh my gosh.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for us today. Be sure to check out JMark. He's got his own channel. Did pretty funny reactions with his wife Asia. They watch horror movies. He's got some comedy sketches as well. Be sure to go like it, subscribe to his videos, and you can find me down below. I'll leave the link right down below here. And until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been John. This has been JMark. We will see you next time.